I welcome you back to this video. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to do a general arrangement for this model. Okay, if you are my paid student, we have done a design on how to design a raft foundation, on how to model a complete structure using a raft foundation, how to model a complete structure using a pad foundation. We have also done some other modeling, the necessary foundation settings in prota structure. Okay, your fixed end and pin end in prota structure, how to make it effect or how to effect it in prota structure. Okay, how to edit your wall load, how to edit your story, okay, and so on and so forth. But in this model or in this new training, we are going to model this complete structure. You can see here this design. This is how the architect sent me the drawing, and we are going to use a strip foundation for this design at the end of this model. We are going to be using a strip foundation for this design. Okay, this is just to take you around different types of structural model and different types of foundation. Okay, so if you are my paid student, from our previous training I've told you that if you want to start your general arrangement, you must not use the original file. You have to copy the file sent to you by the architect. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do now is that I'm going to copy this file. As you can see, this is my ground floor and this is my first floor. Okay, so I'm going to copy this file first. Let me copy these two files. Okay, I'll hit on copy, then I'll copy it to duplicate it this way. Then I can now start working on any one, so that even if I miss anything on any of this, on one of these files, I can easily go back to this one and check it and do the right thing. Okay, so I'm going to delete all this furniture one after the other. Okay, as a civil structural engineer, for a general arrangement, you don't need anything like furnitures or all these dimensions here. Okay, you are only concerned about your structural element. Okay, so I will start by deleting all this text and all this furniture. Okay, so let's start that. We'll try and make it snappy because this is not our first time doing this. Okay, so whenever you are doing this, you make sure you did not delete your grid line. Okay, you delete the text and the furnitures and some other things that are not necessary in it. Okay, I don't need all this furniture. I don't need this. If I like, I can also delete my staircase. I don't need it, but I always like to complete my general arrangement before I will do that. Okay, before I will delete my staircase. So I will delete all this. I will delete this. Okay, I'll delete this. You can also complete your general arrangement and be sure that okay, this is what you are using before you delete your doors and windows. Okay, this is for you to know where you have doors and where you have windows, so that you won't go and place a column where you have a door or where you have a window at the end. Okay, so you need to be very careful about that. I don't need this. I don't need this. So let's try and make it snappy. And if you have not watched my previous video on how to carry out your general arrangement, please kindly go and do so, because there are some things I may not bother explaining again in this particular video. Okay, in the first part on how to carry out general arrangement, we have done that. Okay, although I don't really want to do a new general arrangement, but I just feel for better understanding, let me take you through how to do that again, okay? So that you understand everything better. Make sure whenever you are doing your general arrangement, you did not delete a grid line, okay? As you can see, I've mistakenly deleted a grid line before, so, and I've pressed my Ctrl Z to bring it back, okay? So make sure you delete only the text or the furnitures. If you have anything like maybe a particular line that was used to indicate some other things, you can delete all those ones as well, okay? As you can see, this grid line doesn't have what is doing here. I don't need it. It's not part of the structure, okay? I'll delete this section line, then I'll delete these interior settings. I'll delete this text. This is an aesthetic column, but I've discussed with the architect, and he has said we can remove it, so we don't need it there anymore. So I'll continue deleting all this. I'm just trying to make all this fast. Okay, let's delete this. We don't need all this. Delete this one. Delete this. Okay. Delete this section head. Okay. Let's delete all this. So general arrangement is very important before you can proceed for your structural design, okay? Except if you want to have a serious problem in your model, okay? If you want to have problem, don't bother to do your general arrangement. But if you want your structure to be safe, I advise you to carry out your general arrangements perfectly, okay? If you are very good, it's not a must you come to AutoCAD for your general arrangement, okay? You can go straight to your prota structure to create your axis line and start your model immediately, but it is always good to do that. Even while doing that, when you do that on AutoCAD, by the time you get to prota structure, you see that all your columns will be inserted automatically, okay? Just make sure you position all your columns where you want them to be, okay? So as you can see, we are almost done cleaning all this. So let me just take all this away, all these what is it called, all this field or ash. I'll take them away so that I can be able to have a clearer view, okay? I'll take all these away. I'll take all these away. Make sure, sorry, can you see we've deleted the line? So let's do that again, okay? I'll delete this, delete this particular one, delete this one, delete this, select this and delete it. Look at this artwork, I don't need it. Delete this, okay? Delete this, okay? So you delete all what you know you don't need in your general arrangement. It is very important. You don't need it to leave it there. You don't need to leave them there, okay? And while deleting, once again, can you see we've deleted the line, but it's not an issue, okay? So while deleting, you must make sure you did not delete what you don't need. So let me also delete this grid line, delete this particular one, okay? Let's go to our first floor as well and also do the same thing. So I will also delete all this. I will delete all this. Okay, select this and delete it. As I've said, make sure you are not deleting any other thing, and if you delete it, you must make sure you notice it on time and do the correction. That is why I ask you not to use the original file, okay? If you use the original file, it's either you go and download it back, or you have to communicate with the architect so that they can send it back to you. Or you start pressing your Ctrl Z till you get it back. Oh, okay. Or you attempt to close your project without saving it, okay? So let's also make this faster. Can make it faster than this. Okay. Delete this grid. So if you are not part of our students, you can also join our mentorship class. It's very, very affordable. We teach you how to design, okay? We also have different what is it called, different platform, different mentorship training, such as Revit, Lumion, prota structure, okay, Orion 18. We offer this mentorship at a very affordable price, okay? This is just to make sure that we also support the younger ones, okay? We teach the younger ones to make them grow in their career, okay? So select all this and delete it. Select this one and delete it as well. Delete all the text, okay? Delete all the text. Delete all this wardrobe, okay? If you are my paid student, I believe by now you have gotten this AutoCAD file, okay? Actually, this file was sent to me as a Revit file, so I have to convert it to AutoCAD myself, okay? I have to convert it to AutoCAD myself. So let's delete this one, okay? Delete all this. I don't want this video to be too long. So if this video is too fast for you, you can go to our previous video on how to create or how to carry out your general arrangement, okay? But if you are not new to this video, you should know that all this is not a new thing, okay? We have explained these times without number. Okay. Select all this and delete it. Select this, okay? Delete this. This is an Andre. I will select it and delete it. Okay. Delete all this. Okay. In our Revit class, we also teach you how to sketch, because it is very important. If you want to know how to draw, maybe you want to learn Revit architecture, it is very important to know how to draw or how to sketch. It is when you've sketched and your sketch is accurate and realistic, that is when you can now go to software to start your model, okay? But for this is a prota structure class, okay? So let's delete this one, delete this, okay? Delete this one, okay? Just trying to make it faster, and at the same time I'm trying to be careful, as you can see. So select this one and delete it, okay? Select this one and delete it. Delete this one as well, okay? Delete this one, okay? As you can see, we are almost done deleting all that. So you can see this wall is not there. Select it and stretch it down. Select this one and delete it, okay? I think we are also done with this particular one. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is that I will go back to my ground floor, okay? And I will make sure that I pick this rectangle tool, and I will draw a rectangle, okay? I will draw a column of 225, press my tab by 450, okay? I'll hit on enter. As you can see, this is the column here, and I've told you times that number that is either you use your polyline or you use your rectangle, okay? If you use your line, that is the only way our prota structure can recognize your column, okay? And you must make sure that they are set under column layer, okay? Make sure they are set under column layer, okay? As you can see, this is 225 by 225 column, and this is 225 by 450 column. I will select these two now, click on this drop down. I've set my layer, okay? Then I will select column layer and make sure that they are inside the column layer. As you can see, this is it, okay? I'll pick my line again so I can be able to locate the center of this column easily. I will draw all this way, okay? I also draw a line to this point, okay? I will draw a line at the center of this one also. Then I can select this, I'll hit on block, I'll click on enter. I'll just give it any name, TRE, just give it any name and click on OK. Do the same thing for this one, block, I'll hit on enter. Then GYT, just give it any name, okay? That's fine. Then I'll start placing my column where I want them to be, one after the other, okay? I'll select this column. As a structural engineer, I believe you should know where is good for your column, okay? Always put a column at the edge of a building this way, okay? I will also put a column at this edge, okay? I'll put a column at this point, okay? I will also put a column at let me put a column at grid 6. Okay, let me put a column at grid 6. Make sure it's well positioned. It is how you position it, that is how prota structure is going to make use of it for you, okay? Let me also place a column at this point, okay? I'll also place a column at this angle, okay? Let me place a column at this point. If I cannot pick that for now, I can proceed and come back to that place, okay? I will also place a column at this point. Let me place a 225 column at this point. I won't be able to snap that column well. I will deselect it. I will say copy. I'll pick it from here this time around so that I can be able to select this angle. Let me see, can I locate this particular angle here now? Okay, let me place one column here. Okay, just make sure that you place a column at the corner of a building at a critical point. Okay, it's very important. Let me place one column at this point. Okay, I will also place one column at this point. Okay, let me reselect it again. Copy, I'll pick it from here now, and I'll place a column at this point. Okay, I will also place a column at this point. Okay, if I cannot pick it again, I will have to reselect it. I'll hit on copy again. I'll pick it from this angle, and I'll place it at this angle. Okay, can you see that? Then from the design, you see that we have a round column here, so we have to go and make provision for that. But before we do that, let me quickly select my rectangle tool, my rectangle column or 450 column. Let me move this first. So I will rotate this one, rotate. Okay, I'll pick my rectangle this way, or you can call it column, or you call it rectangle column. Then I'll copy this as well. I'll pick it from this angle. Then I'll place one at this angle. Okay, I'll also place one at this angle. Okay, I think this is fine. Let me see. Let me move it to this angle. I'll move it to this angle. Okay, can you see that? Okay, it's not well positioned yet, so I would like to move it and make sure it's well positioned. I'll select it again, as you can see, and I'll trace this angle down. Now make sure it's well positioned. Okay, can you see that? Then I'm going to also select it again. Select the same one. Now hit on copy. Then I'll place one at let me place one at this point. Let me copy it from here. Let me place one at this point. I know it's going to fall where we have this entrance, but I've discussed with the architect, because I want to have some 450 column at that point because of this large span here. Okay, it's very important. At times architect will just design for aesthetic, but you as an engineer, you have to make sure that the structure is safe. Okay, it's not their own job, but you have to let them know what to do, what will make your structure safe. If there is a way you can also still adjust, it is better you adjust so that the aesthetic will still be there. But if there is no way you can adjust, you communicate with your architect. Okay, I will rotate this column again. I'll select it and I'll hit on copy. I'll pick it from this angle and I'll take it to this point. Okay, whenever you want to place your let me say 450 column, make sure you target the longer side. Okay, as you can see, the orientation of this column, I orientate it based on this span here. Okay, just make sure you are doing the right thing. Okay, let me also use this column here. Copy. I'll copy it from here to this point. Okay, then I want to also use that column here. Let me use that column here. Let me say I will also place one column at this point. Let me place it. Let me say, okay, let me pick this particular one and I'll say copy, and I'll pick it from here and place it at this edge. due to the span of that sitting room, we have discussed with the architect on some area. Okay, so I will also move this one and move it to this point. As you can see, we need to delete this one. I'll also copy, and I'll pick this from here and I'll pick it to this point. Okay, then I will also copy, let me copy this 225 column, copy. I'll pick it from here and I'll place one at this angle so that it's going to assist this staircase, to support the staircase at this angle. For this one now, okay, this is 150 column, 150 wall rather, so I'll just place it at that point. Okay, this one will be able to support this span, that's fine. Then let me see where else do we need to place a column. So for this point, I also want to have a 450 column at this point. Okay, and we can also use a 225 column here. Okay, let's use a 225 column. I'll move this from here and place it at this center point. Okay, then I can draw my beam line the way I want it to run. I can draw this beam line. Let me draw this one. I want this beam to go this way. Okay, select this beam line now. I want it to also run this way. Okay, then I want this one to also cross this place. I'll select it from here. I want it to run down this way. Don't forget, whenever you are designing for safety, serviceability, and economy. Okay, that's fine. Then I will also like it to run this way. Select it, or we can just use match properties for this place. Let's leave that for now. Okay, then I will also like it to run, this is my staircase area. If you look at our architectural plan, you will see that this staircase, can you see, is running all the way from this side and coming to this side. So I would like to have a beam at this point. Okay, I would like to have a beam at that point. Then let me check my first floor also. Okay, I would also like to have a beam at this point. Look at this staircase area. Okay, to make that staircase open the way it should be. Okay, that's fine. Then I will also make this place run. Okay, I will use match property for this place. Then we can select this one and delete it. Okay, that's fine. Then we can also let's say we're on my first floor now. I want to also have a beam here. I want to have this beam here. Okay, let's complete this one first. Then we'll go and copy our first floor. Okay, and place it on our ground floor. That's fine. Then let me delete this particular wall. I don't need this wall here. I don't need this wall. Okay, I'll select this column now and delete them. Since I already have some other ones inside, let me also delete this one. Okay, firstly, let me select my rectangle. I will left click and I'll type 150. The column is 300 mm. Okay, then let me pick my dimension tool, annotate dimension, and I will snap the center of this circle and make sure that the radius is 150 mm, as you can see. Okay, so that the diameter is going to give us 300 mm. So I'll go to my layer now and change this to column layer. Okay, make sure you set it under column layer. That is the only way prota structure will recognize your column. Okay, I'll pick this from this center and I'll bring it to this point. Okay, we need a grid line at that point. Okay, I think we deleted it. As you can see, this is it. This is exactly what I'm saying. So I'll go to my ground floor now. I'll select this grid line. I'll right click and I'll say copy with base point, and I'll select a proper base point for my grid line. Let me select this grid 8, this angle. Then I'll go and place it at this angle. I will say under clipboard now, and I will say paste. Okay, and I will place it here. So if you go to your, you see that the grid line is back there. Then select your column now and you move it, pick it from the center and make sure it's at the center also. That's fine. Then let's quickly delete some place. Let's delete some place first. Let's delete some place. Okay, but before we even delete, I would still like to have this beam crossing here. Okay, let me cross this beam at this point and also cross this beam. Okay, I can easily use my match properties for this one. Okay, you can leave this one like this, but because of this recess, I would like to connect this angle or this recess inward. Okay, I'll connect it inward this way. Okay, this is fine. Then I can now select all this door now and delete them, or window. I will delete them once I know that I'm done with my column position. Okay, this window here is already penetrating inside the what is it called, the window. That is actually from the architect. Okay, so we don't have any business with that. We can only call the attention of the architect for correction. Okay, and let's select all these, can delete all these. Let's make sure we do the right thing. Select all these and delete them. We're going to use our match property to bring back all the line ticker. Okay, this is fine. Okay, let's continue. Okay, let me leave this place. Let me also delete this. This is a door. Let me delete all this. Delete this door. Make sure you are doing the right thing. Always remember that you are much concerned about safety, and also try to be economical. Okay, let's select this one and also delete it. Okay, let's delete this one, delete this one. Okay, okay, delete all these. Delete all this one. Okay, delete this one also. Ctrl Z. As you can see, we have deleted a particular word here. So I will select it and drag it this way. Then I will also select this one and delete it. Select this one and delete it. Select this one and delete it. Then I'm going to click on match property now to match all this property. I'll click on match property. Now I will select this sticker one. Okay. Then I will continue matching all these properties. Okay. I'll match all this property. Can you see that? Okay. Let's quickly do all this. Okay. No matter what, try to do your general arrangement. Okay. Some people look at the stress and go straight to total structure. If you are working at AutoCAD first, you will be able to see all your error carefully. Okay. That's why I'm also taking my time to teach you more on general arrangement. Okay. If you have not watched our previous video, please kindly go and do so. As you can see, I'm almost done matching all the properties. Okay. Let me match properties again. Select this one, select this wall. Okay, select all this shorter wall now and delete them. All this short wall or partition for window, don't need them. And select this window now and delete it. Okay. Okay. Can you see? You can use your trim to trim that point. So we are still coming back to that area. So let's check for other things first. Then you can also select this one and delete it. Okay. Delete this one. To assist your design career, I encourage you to get foundation design or reinforced concrete design. There is one also called foundation design, okay, by engineer Dr. Oyenuga. Kindly help yourself by doing so, okay, to brush yourself more in manual design. Okay, it's very important. So let me use my trim now. Trim, I will hit on enter, then I will trim all this. Okay, let's trim all this. Let's trim where we need to trim. Let's trim this. You can select this one and delete it. Okay, click on trim again or type it on your keyboard. Trim. Okay, then you continue trimming. Repeat trim if you have escaped the command or exit the command. Okay, continue trimming. Make sure you trim it very well. As you are working, no matter what, make sure your job is neat. Okay, especially when you get to detailing. You must make sure your detailing is very okay and well drafted, to make sure that whoever wants to read your drawing can be able to see and interpret what you have designed very well. Okay, I'll use my match properties again. I'll select this particular one and I'll also match all these properties. Let me match all these properties. I will match these properties as well. Select this one and delete it. Let me match properties again. Let's see. Let's match these properties. Let's match these properties. Then you also need to check round. You need to extend this particular one, as you can see. Let me quickly extend this particular one. I will extend it down this way. Okay, let's match property for this place. Okay, this is fine. Then let's copy this first floor. Copy this first floor, but before you copy, you try and change the color. I'll select it now and I'll give it another color. I'll go to home and I'll give it another color. I'll select my layer and I can give it any other color that is different from the ground floor color. Okay, let me give it let's say white. Then it's still selected. You type block on your keyboard, you hit on enter. You also give it a name. Just give it any name. You click on OK. Then you can be able to select it as a single file. But before we place the first floor on the ground floor, let's complete this one first, because as you can see, you see that we have something like an exit here. Okay, we also have that exit here, so we also need to create the beam at that point. So I will take my line. Let me take my line tool. I'll connect this one from here to this point. Okay, as we have mistakenly deleted that, then we are supposed to have offset for this particular one as well. Then what we are going to do is, if you go to this point, you see that there is an exit here. Can you see that? This is another exit here. Can you see that? Okay, then we just have to offset this. Let's offset it so that we can be able to give it a beam there. So I'll type offset on my keyboard. Okay, I'll hit on enter. Then I'll type 225. I'll hit on enter. Then I can offset this inward this way. I'll offset this one also. Okay, then I will also do the same thing. Okay, that one is offset. What I will do is I will just click on trim, TRIM to trim. I will hit on enter. Then I will trim this and also trim this. You can select this now and delete it. Select this one and delete it. Okay, then I will also click on match property. Then I will match this and this together. Okay, and this one. Then you do the same thing for this side. You match the properties. Then you match the properties of this one as well. Okay, match this property together. Then you click on escape and you can click on trim. I can see a place where we need to trim, TRIM to trim. You hit on enter. Then you trim this way. Okay, you trim this way. Okay, that's fine. Then is there any other place we need to trim again? You check your model, you check your general arrangement rather, you check them properly and make sure everything is done perfectly, okay? Make sure you've done everything perfectly. Okay, let's see. Or instead of even placing your first floor, but we need to place the first floor on the ground floor in order to see if we have a cantilever at any point. Okay, that's very important. Let me delete this one, delete, and I'll delete this one also. Then I'll copy this, I'll select it, right click, and I'll say copy with base point. You go to your clipboard and say copy with base point. Majorly, if you want to copy this, it's always good to copy in at a staircase point where the dimension and the sizes will never change. Okay, it's always good to copy from that point. If you look at this grid D now, grid D on 8, okay, if you go to this point, grid D on grid D here on 8, you see that this angle remain the same, okay. You can just pick it from this angle here, that is grid D on 8, which is this point. You pick it from here, then you go to this place, right click and say paste under your clipboard, then you paste it at this point, okay. You paste it here, can you see? Then you'll be able to see where there is a cantilever. All this place that is showing, you see that where there is no cantilever, the walls are covering everything up. If you look at this yellow now, you see that all this white line followed all the path, okay? Followed all the path. Can you see that? Can you see that? So I would like to also create beam at some point. Can you see we have a cantilever here? This is where our ground floor is stopping. So this extension here is a cantilever. So what are we going to do now is that we are going to, actually we've even done a perfect general arrangement here. As you can see, we've divided this span here. We've divided the span at this point, okay? But these particular beams, we need to run these particular beams straight down. So that is going to, because there is a lobby at this point. If you go to your first floor, you see that you have a lobby there. Can you see? So we need a beam here, okay, to also assist this staircase, okay. So I'm going to, let me see, okay, let me take my line tool. I'll make sure I select this same line that is the same color with this ground floor. Then I'll go to my layer, sorry, you go to your layer, then you search for that the same layer properties. This is it here. Then I'll click my line. Once I click my line now, I will draw this way to form the shape of the cantilever. Okay, I'll draw it this way. So because I want to have a beam at that point, so what I will just do is I will trace that wall, that 225 mm wall, so that I will know that what I have there is just a straight beam. They are beams, okay? They are beams. Assuming it's just a cantilever where I don't want to have a beam at all I will just do is to just trace the external wall. Okay, I'll trace the external wall this way. Make sure you select the right point. Okay, make sure, can you see that this one is even extending more than that point? Select it, or let me say, sorry, so you select the line back and delete it, then you select your line, make sure it snaps to the right position, okay, to this point and to this point. So if you zoom closer, you see that this line is stopping right there. You click on your line, you take it from this point and you take it to this side and you connect it to the ground floor. Okay, then you can choose to go and offset, and you can also use your line the same way we do for the other end. You create another line to form the 225 mm wall just because you want to have a beam there. Okay, this is a 900 mm cantilever. It's not a must you have a beam at that point. Let me see. This is it here. Can you see that this is 900 mm? Then we have shaped this cantilever here out. Let's do for this end. I'll go to my home and I'll click on my line. Okay, then I'm going to also shape this one out. Pick it from this point, trace it down to this side, trace it down to this point, and trace it down to this point. Okay, you take your line again, you take it from here, let's see, take it from here, connect it to your ground floor, bring it to this point, okay, and take it to this side and connect this one this way. Let's check the length of this cantilever here, annotate dimension, and I'll check this dimension here. You see this is 1500 mm. Okay, while at this point I think it's no more than let's say 600. Can you see? Then I said I would like to have a beam at this point, a straight beam at this edge. So I'll take the line tool again. I'll go to home. I'll take my line. Then I'm going to trace this particular wall. This wall you are seeing here. I'll trace it from this ground floor here. Then I will trace it down. I can connect it to this beam I have here. Let's connect it to this particular beam. Connect it to this one. And just stop it right here. Okay. Make sure that the wall is straight. Make sure it's straight. Or you can click on your orthogonal line to make it straight automatically. Just make sure that the wall is straight there. Okay. But for me, I always like to use my polar tracking. Okay, can you see? That's it. Then I'll take another line again, or you can just offset this one by 225. Let me take my dimension tool. The line is looking as if it's not straight at that point. Let me take my dimension tool from here to this point. Let's check the dimension. This is 1677. Can you see that the line is not straight? The line is not straight at all. If you look at it critically, you see that the line is not straight. So you need to be very careful. So in this case, because I don't want to tamper what I've placed down, I'll just pick my line. Let me say, go to home, line. I will trace it from this point first, trace this one first, and trace it to this side. Okay, then you click on offset on your keyboard. You hit on enter. By 225, you hit on enter. Select this one and offset it inside. Okay, can you see? Then I can now use my extend on your keyboard. You hit on enter. Then I will extend this line this way. Can extend the line. Can you see? You're going to extend the line. You cannot see that line. You select it. You can see it here. This is it. You can drag it down. Okay. Stop it at this point first. Then you click on extend again to continue extending it. Okay. So you extend the wall or the beam line. Okay. You extend it. Can you see that? You extend it. Let's say I want it to stop at this point. Okay. So I will extend it to this side. Can you see the extension line? Okay, it's connected. Then if you measure now, you see that I think the other one is 1677. Let's just see what is going to give us now to see what we have there. And this is 1459. You can also measure from the architectural this thing to confirm what you are doing. You see that what we have here is 1459. I think it's from here. No, we didn't measure very well. Let's see. Let's see the wall we just measured. Okay, I think it's from this wall. So it's from this wall here. It's from this wall. If you measure from here to this point, and you see that it's 1459, which means we are correct. So you just come to your general arrangement. You do what? You can just even select this one and delete it. Then you offset this one now. Okay, offset. You hit on enter. By 225, you hit on enter. Then you offset this one downward. Okay, then let me say I don't need this beam here. So when we get here, we're going to delete that. We have traced this out. We have also traced the beam out. Okay, also the cantilever is well traced. Okay, cantilever is well traced. You can just take your line tool again to make sure you trace. Okay, let's trace this beam out. Let's trace the beam out from here to this point. This is a cantilever. I would like to have a beam there, and even according to the architectural design, there is a beam at that point. Okay, trace this one out. Okay, so I'll take my line again, although this particular one is there already. Let's just measure. Let me measure it. I'll click my annotation to confirm that this one to this point is 225. Okay, can you see this is 225? That's fine. Then I will select, is there anywhere, any place I need to have a column again? Okay, I said a column, a beam. I can just give this span, let me divide this span here. I'll take my line tool, line, I'll pick it from here, and I'll take it down this way. I'll connect it to this particular beam here. I take it down. It depends on me. I can take it down and I can stop it at that end. Okay, it depends on me. But also always consider for safety, serviceability, and economy when designing. Okay, I'll trace this down. And from here, I can just offset by 225. Offset on your keyboard. I'll hit on enter. By 225, enter. Then I'll select it from here now, and I'll offset it inward. As you can see, it snapped on the wall. Okay, then I'm going to also extend this particular one. I will extend it. Even this one doesn't extend to this side. Okay, that's why we are having them stopping there. Let me stop it at this point. I will do the same thing for this one. I will stop it at this point. Let me stop it at this point. Or you use your extend it. You click on extend. Okay, select this one to extend it. Okay, now it has penetrated to where we don't even want it to go. You can simply use your trim. You hit on enter, then you trim it this way. Select the line and delete it. Okay, okay, I think we are done. So let's select this one now. Select it, you hit on move, or we can even delete it because we have another one right there, as you can see. So we can delete it straight down. Then if you look at it now, you see that you have all your lines traced. Okay, we have all the lines there. Don't forget, I want to delete this beam here. I want to delete this beam. I don't need this beam here. I don't need this beam here. I don't need all this. I don't need this. Let's make the whole of this place a panel. Okay, let me select this one also and delete it. Okay, let's make that place a panel. Select this one now and connect it to this one. Okay, then let's use match property. You select the thicker line, then you match property of the thicker line to this one. Okay, then this one here to this one. Okay, which other one? I think that is all we just need to do now is to trim this. Okay, can you see all this one that we traced out? Okay, you make it thicker that you can be able to understand what you are doing very well. Okay, you do the same thing at this end, and you can also leave it light. It's not a must to make it thicker. Okay, you can leave it light the way it is. That's fine. So you do this one and do this one. Then this is our cantilever line. As you can see, I can see one white line here. We don't need it there. We can go and delete it. Okay, so let me select this one and delete it. Okay, select this line and delete it. Then I will click on match properties again to continue matching the properties to this one, to this one. Then I can still see one line here. I will delete it. Okay, I don't need those lines there. Then I'm going to trim all this line. Trim. I will hit on enter. I want to be sure I'm using my trim. I will hit on enter again. Okay, then I will trim this way, trim this like this, then you trim this like this. Okay, sorry, Ctrl Z, I think. Okay, so trim this now, repeat trim this again, trim this, let them show as a connecting beams. Okay, let me trim this one. I'll also trim this. I'll trim this. I will trim this. I will trim this one. Trim this one. Trim this one. Okay. Let me see. I can also stop this right here. Let me say, since the reason why we connect this one is majorly for this, what is it called? It's majorly for this staircase. Then we can remove this one. Let's remove this one and we leave this particular one here. Okay, so I'll select all this one now and trim it. Select this one and trim it. Select this one and trim it. Okay, so that I can make this place a panel. I'll also trim this one. Okay, or we can still place that wall back. Let's place, I say the wall, let's place the ground floor, the first floor back on the ground floor, and see what we need to do again. Right click and you say copy with base point. You can also pick it from this point, grid 8, this angle. You go to grid 8 here. Can you see we've deleted our grid line? We're coming back to that, and you click on paste under your clipboard again. Click on paste. Okay, then as you can see, I need this wall to be right here because this is an opening. Okay, if this is an opening, it means on my first floor a wall will continue from here. Okay, and I also need this particular beam here. Okay, so this place will now form as an opening for me because there is a wall here on my first floor and there is a wall here also. So I will take my line again. I'll take my line and I will connect this one this way. Let me connect this one. I will connect it to, let me connect this one like this. Make sure I connect. I'll take my line again, sorry. And I will take this one from here. To this point. Then I can take my offset or drag it down first. Drag it down to connect it to this point. Okay. Once you connect it that way, now you can now use your offset to offset it. You click on offset. And another way you can also do it, you can also make this one a whole panel. Then you connect this one to this one. I hope you understand that. You can just connect this one straight down. Once you connect this one straight down, then you make this one to this point. Okay. So let me offset the line. Offset. I will hit on enter. Then I will click on enter. As you can see, oh sorry, let's do that again. Offset. Offset 225. You left click on it. Can you see? Then I'll take my line again and I'll trace this one from here to this point. Okay, you can use your line tool again from here to this point. Stop it at this point. Okay, then is there any other place we need to look at? I think this is all for now. I think this is all for now. Okay, I think this is all for now. Okay, so let me just select this one and I will click on move. I will move it away from the one I have here. Okay, as you can see, I have one already, so I will just delete it because I copy. Okay, so this is the line we just created. I'll use my match property. I'll select this one and match this property this way. Okay, can you see? Okay, I think this is all. Then we can now use our trim again. Trim. I'll hit on enter and I will trim this from here to here. I'll trim this from here to here. I'll trim this from here to here. Trim this from here to here. From here to here. From here to here. From here to here. Okay, we still even have some we need to trim. Let's trim it. Let's just make our general arrangement neat. Okay, so it doesn't disturb you when you get to prota structure, do. Oh, sorry, my system battery is going down actually, so I've quickly fixed that. So you continue trimming. Let's continue trimming. I think we are done. As you can see, I think we are done. Okay, okay, let me trim this as well. I will also trim this particular one. I will also trim this one. I'll trim this one. Okay, let's see. Then what you need to do again, if you remember, I told you that we've missed our, okay, we've even missed our grade 7 prime and 8. Okay, so what you need to do now is to go to your original file. Okay, in that case, grade 7 prime and 8. Okay, you look for the two, you select them. I'll select them this way, 7 prime and 8. Then I will right click and I will say copy with base point. Then I will copy it from this angle. So I will go to my what is it called, my original general arrangement, and I will say paste under my clipboard. Then I will paste it here. Although I'm not supposed to copy these headings, I'm supposed to copy the line only because I have the headings there. So I will go back and repeat that step. I'll go to 7 prime and 8. Okay, now I will right click again and I will say copy with base point, and I will copy it from here. Okay, then I will go to this one and I will say paste under my clipboard. Okay, paste, and I will paste it here. That's fine. Then that is why I told you that you must not tamper your original file. Okay, so what we need to do now is that we have to copy. Let's copy our column. We copy all this column. We see the column that we don't need again. Then let me say, can I use select similar? Let me right click and say select similar, or select similar. Okay, then you copy this one also and say select similar. Can you see we have copied all the column there? The reason why I don't want to use that select similar is if I have a column like that, it's going to select all in the project. Can you see that? Can you see I have some things of such? So you need to always check. If you did not check, this is going to affect your work. Okay, I even need to delete this particular one here. Okay, I think that's what is showing. So let's go back to make it faster. Sorry, right click, select similar, select similar. You do the same thing for this one. You select the similar again. But okay, let me select similar. Then you now pick it again and place it on this particular one. So by then you will see your column that is going to terminate on the first floor, and you are going to see the one that is going to continue. Copy with base point. You can copy from this angle. So you go to this particular one and you paste it on that point. Okay, you say paste and you paste it right here. Okay, then if you look critically now, you see that, look at this point now, this is a cantilever, so we don't need this column here. Look at this column, look at this column. Those are the columns that will terminate on the first floor. Okay, so we have to select this one now, select all this one and delete them, select this one and delete it, so that by the time you are modeling, you just come to your first floor in AutoCAD here to check critically. Okay, this one is still better, this one is still better. You can also delete it. Okay, so we are going to change some to 225. Okay, if it's maintaining 225 by 450 from ground floor, it means when it gets to first floor, it's going to change to 225. Okay, so we are going to start positioning some columns on first floor. Okay, so let me select one of these columns now. I will first delete this one also. I will delete it, then I will hit on copy, select this one and hit on copy. Then you complete your column position on first floor. Okay, I would like to have a column at this point. I would also like to have a column at this angle. Okay, let me see. Let me delete, since I have a column here, let me delete this one. I can select this one and change and move the position. Okay, you move this position to this point. This is a 225 by 450 column, but now it's going to change to 225 by 225 on first floor. Okay, you hit on copy again, copy, then you continue positioning your columns again, one after the other, or we can leave this the way it is. Okay, all these are fine, all these are fine. Then I would like to have a column at this angle. We don't have a grid line there, as you can see. So to do that now, just select it, you hit on copy. You can copy this from here. It's not a must you have a column at this angle anyways. If your column from ground floor can be able to carry the load. Okay, as you can see, we have a column at this angle already. So I will hit on copy again, copy, then I will copy this from here. Now I will place this one at this point. Okay, then I will continue, copy again, I'll pick this from here, then I will look at where I need a column also. Look at this column here now, it's already projecting inside the door. Okay, so I will delete that one and change it to 225 by 225 column. Let me just use move for this. Then I will position this one right here. I'll select this one, hit on copy, and I will copy this from here. Okay, let me also look for, I can have a column at this edge, but I want my column to be on a straight line. So I think I would like to have that column right here. Okay, let me maintain the column right here, because this column are coming from ground floor directly. So I want to maintain that straight line. Okay, let me delete this one, and I'll also change this one and change the position. I'll hit on copy. I'll pick this from here and I will paste it here. Okay, that's fine. Then I would also like to have a column at this point. Let me say, I think we are done. Let me have a column at this point, and I also have, okay, let me have another column right here. Let me say right here. Okay, don't forget the distance from one column to column should not exceed more than 6 meters. But as a young engineer, I always advise you to maintain 3,500, 4,000. Okay, that is fine. So I will select this one and hit on copy. I will copy this from here and I will position it here. Okay, once you position that one as well, then you check again for where I think we mistakenly copied this. I think we mistakenly copied this. So let's delete this one. Let's delete this one. Okay. So as you are modeling on prota structure, we just need to come to this point and you check where you want to paste or place your columns. Okay. This is all for now. This is all. This is how we want our general arrangement to be. So what I will do is I will go to my, let me delete this particular one. Oh, sorry. Okay, we have it there already. So I'm going to, I need to also match property for some points. Match property. So let this one match their property. Okay, match the property of this one. Okay, so let's do some things. Now you need to select all these grid heading, select them and delete them. We don't need it. Okay, when we go to prota structure is going to create its own heading or text or grid bulbs. Then we just need to edit from that point to suit the architectural design. Okay, so you select all this one and delete them, select all these and delete them. Can you see? Select it again. Make sure you did not select the line. Okay, you can also select it this way. Then you press your shift and you deselect the line. Okay, I think we did not even select the line. As you can see, we didn't select the line. You hit on delete. You select all this one this way and you click on shift and you deselect the line. Okay, then you can delete it on your keyboard. Select all this one. You press your shift and you deselect the line only and you press delete on your keyboard. Okay, I think this is better. So another thing I need to do is that if you remember, I have all this block, so I will hit on explode. I'll hit on enter. Then I will also explode this one, explode, or sorry, we are supposed to select, right click and say select similar. Then you click on explode, you type explode on your keyboard, you hit on enter. Then let's do the same thing for this one again. Select this one, right click and say select similar. Okay, then you type explode and you hit on enter. Okay, then you select this line now. Select this line, right click and say select similar and let it select similar of all what we have in the model. Can you see? And you can delete them. Okay, I think we are good. Select this one, right click and say select similar and make sure they are all on grid, on column grid. Okay, or column layer rather. Make sure they are on column layer. Okay, make sure they are all on column layer. Then all you need to do again is make sure your grid is also set to grid layer. Select all this grid, okay, and you change the layer to grid. Okay, you make sure they are in grid layer. It's very, very important. That is the only way prota structure will recognize your grid. Okay, I will select grid. As you can see, I have my layer set. If you don't know how to save your or set your layer, kindly watch our previous training. Okay, then now we can now export this into a what is it called, into a different workspace. But for now, this is where I'm going to stop on my general arrangement. In my next video, we are going to see how we can export this design to prota structure. Okay, this is where I'm going to stop for now. Thank you very much. See you in my next video.